What's going on, you guys? Some Pro Domino here, and welcome to the ETWRS Replays YouTube channel, where you can send me your replays, and I will post them on YouTube and do a little commentary in the process. So over the years, you guys have been using Hangouts to send me a bunch of photos on all these great games and all the things that happened in those games, and although that's been really nice, nobody ever really got to see the replay. And at one point, we were trying to send each other replays saying, you gotta see this replay. But let's just be honest here. Are you honestly going to open up a replay of World of Tanks with the World of Tanks program and not play World of Tanks? So I decided that I was going to create a World of Tanks YouTube channel where we can actually post those replays. We can see a lot of the funny things that happen in World of Tanks, right? And it gives you a little incentive to try to have some good games. So how do you send me a World of Tanks replay? Well, it's actually quite simple. All you have to do is send an email to worldoftanksETWRS@gmail.com. And then you put in the subject line, best replay ever, right? Then you go over here and you go to the C drive, you go to games, you go to World of Tanks, go to replays, and you click on the replay. Boom! The other thing you might also want to attach is the post-battle results. And the best way to do that is to hit this little button called print screen. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hit print screen on my keyboard. And then I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit paste. And boom, look at that. And there you have it. You can actually send me a screen of your post-battle results that I can actually put on the YouTube channel without having to go to the World of Tanks replays page. And I'll make sure to put that email in the description down below so you don't, misspell it. And please use the print screen technology, okay? Don't take the picture with your phone. I'm talking to you, Biohazard. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the first ETWRS replay brought to you by Remillexis, who is playing in the Tier 10 Russian heavy tank, the IS-4. He's got a really nice paint job on there too, by the way. So Remillexis is playing in the IS-4. The IS-4 is a very unique heavy tank. It has been in the game for a really long time, but has been pushed aside by the IS-7 and the Object 277. So not a lot of people actually play the IS-4, which actually gives Remillexis here kind of an advantage because, well, as you can see, apart from these trees that are all in the way, the IS-4 does not have the sloped armor in the front that the IS-7 has. And also the turret is a little bit flat on the front as opposed to actually not being as rounded as the IS-7's turret. Remillexis typing something in the chat accidentally bumps into that AMX-30B, who seems to be mesmerized by the border. Probably just AFK. And so this tank, you might be having trouble trying to penetrate it because you just don't know quite where to hit it. And I think we're going to see a lot of that in this match. Speaking of this match, this map is Malinovka. This is a very standard map. It's been in the game for quite a long time. 3 different places of attack. In the upper right-hand corner, in the middle, and the bottom left-hand corner where you see three tank destroyers and a light tank. Which, by the way, not a very good place for that light tank. The tank destroyers can take care of themselves. Although he does aid the tank destroyers in taking out that STB-1. It was very, very unfortunate at the beginning of the battle to come across a Badger, a T-110E4, and a T-110E3. Of course, I might have just spoke too soon because I've already seen the replay and I know that he dies. But once again, you just have to be very, very, very careful who you actually go up against. T-57 Heavy just shows up on the upper right-hand corner on the hill. We're just going to call it the hill from here on out because that is what it's called here in Malinovka. It's got that windmill right there. It's a very, very, very defined place to use to side scrape, which Remillexis is trying to get to that position, but unfortunately his power to weight ratio is only 12.33 and doesn't just give him enough speed to get to the top of the hill in time, which is another detriment to the IS-4. The IS-7 is faster, which is why a lot of people have a tendency to use it. But this gun, I believe, has a slightly better accuracy. It's 0.36 dispersion, which is pretty good for a heavy tank. Anyway, Keen has finally made it up to this hill. Remillexis, I should say. I'm so sorry.
Remillexis has finally made it to the top of the hill where he's trying to hit the cupola of that 60 TP, but unfortunately, I believe his tracks come up and he misses the shot. E100 is just spotted also coming up to the top of this hill, and it's a nice side shot on this T-57 Heavy. Would have been a little bit better if he was able to shoot the back tracks there, but the T-57 Heavy decides to go in for a YOLO moment to take out the Super Conqueror and to almost try to take out the Krongbon. He almost does, but just doesn't roll high enough for the damage, and the Krongbon stays alive. Two Mouses are coming up towards the top of the hill. Remillexis takes a really, really good shot. But unfortunately, the Mouses actually take out the Krongbon in the end. So this leaves Remillexis with 4 heavy tanks and 2 medium tanks on this hill versus 5 heavy tanks, which seems to like an advantage, but you got to keep in mind that there are 2 Mouses. Mouses have 3,000 hit points and they have a lot of health. You can take a lot of shots to take them down, and that is going to be a huge distraction for all of these tanks on Remillexis' team. 60 TP is trying to take a good shot against that Mouse that's sitting next to the windmill. He's trying to angle his armor against the Mouse that's attacking him. Now there's a Death Star down there on Remillexis' team. He's trying to get some good shots against the enemy players that are coming over the top, because he doesn't really have anybody to shoot at in the middle, which is really unfortunate. That AMX 13105 decided to go and charge over at the enemy's base to spot those tank destroyers, which is a very good lower cupola shot by Remillexis. And yeah, it looks like the Death Star decided to take out 2 tanks instead of 1. Fortunately, the second tank was on his team, and aptly put, 60 TP calls him a moron. Which I don't blame him, because, as we all know, the Death Star has very, very good premium HESH rounds, and HESH rounds have a blast radius. So even if he was able to directly hit that Mouse, he was also more than likely going to kill that 60 TP with how much little health he had. Remillexis is trying to get a cheek shot right there on the bottom of the Mouse's turret, and he gets it. And he is really laying into these premium rounds, and you really can't blame him for doing that. I mean, he is going up against 2 Mouses, an E100, 60 TP, and a T110E3, all at the top of this hill. So he really has to make sure to make these shots land. But we're going to see if that bites him in the butt at the end. E100 is trying to do flanking maneuvers, but the Mouse that's on Remillexis' team, Red 1953, is doing a very, very good job at covering Remillexis' flank, along with that Death Star. So the E100 doesn't really want to turn around that corner to try to get flanking shots on Remillexis, so Remillexis can focus fire on this Mouse. Considering taking shots at that E100, doesn't go for it. Mouse comes back out. Remillexis waits for the shot. And you notice that Remillexis is not charging the Mouse. There's a couple of reasons for this. First of all, there's a 60 TP, T110E3, and E100 sitting on the left of his flank. If he decides to charge the Mouse and go up towards the windmill, well, those guys could just turn around and come back up the hill and shoot him from behind. So he's really trying to keep all of the enemies in front of him, which is very, very smart, because this tank excels at bouncing shots when its armor is angled, as opposed to the IS-7 that excels when it is facing directly at their opponents. Good shot again against the Mouse, but it was a very low roll. See, 378 damage. This thing averages 440. Leaves the Mouse at 427 health. And with that last shot, he is out of premium rounds. Now there's the E100 still to the left, but it's only a 1 shot. And that Mouse is also shooting lots of premium rounds at Remillexis and just cannot land the target. And once again, it is just showing the knowledge that Remillexis has about his tank. He's keeping that only his turret exposed, keeping hull down, and not exposing his lower plate. He's trying to squeeze that lower plate shot in, but unfortunately 0.36 dispersion is just not good enough to hit. And he misses his shot. He's got 14 shots left of just standard penetrating rounds, which are not bad. If 258 millimeters of penetration is easily able to go through the lower plate of the Mouse, but when it's angled like that, it's a little bit more difficult to try to get that landing shot. And also, the unfortunate thing about this tank is that the turret traverse and the tank traverse really make that inaccuracy come into effect. And so when he's trying to snapshot, unfortunately, it just doesn't go where he wants it to go. And I am not sure why he wasn't aiming for the side of the armor when it was exposed like that, but really trying to focus on that lower plate. Now we come to a bit of a predicament here. Almost like a standoff, as I would say. The mouse is a one-hit kill. The mouse also cannot back up very quickly. Granted, it can back up faster than most tanks, but it's not going to be able to get away very quickly, and Remillexis is definitely going to go faster than that mouse. We have all the other tanks accounted for. So why isn't he charging the mouse? He could just charge up to the top of the windmill, get a nice good flanking shot, go right up to the side and take this guy out. But I believe that he's worried that the Gorilla 15 has relocated to support the hill. If he tries to go up to that windmill, he might be exposed to shots coming from the tank destroyers that are actually sitting at the bottom near the base. Nobody's really taking that into account. And the Badger, which has decided to go through the marshes and make its way to the enemy side of the base so that it can give some spotting for Remillexis' team, might find himself in a really bad predicament if that M48 Patton comes around that corner and comes down to shoot the Badger from behind. AMX 13105 is now in actually a very good adequate position to scout for at the beginning of the game, but towards the end of the game, really need to try to be a little bit more aggressive in your scouting in order to try to get some more information. Because if you don't have anybody scouting in the north, where Remillexis is sitting, he has no idea if the Gorilla 15 and T125 are just waiting for him to crest the top of this hill. Finally, Remillexis takes out the mouse and now has the opportunity to go forward, but there's only 5 minutes left in this game and he only has 6 rounds left at 440 alpha damage. That is less than 3,000 damage that he's going to be able to do against these opponents, and that's a full health T110E5. He's going to have to rely on the rest of his team in order to get some of this damage done. Or if he wants to kill that T110E5, he cannot miss. Strange thing enough, the T110E5 hasn't really moved from that position. Which leads me to wonder if he might be AFK. I don't see his turret moving. It's possible he could be AFK, but we don't know for sure. And also, you don't want to just charge the T110E5 even if he is AFK, because once again, you don't know where the Gorilla is. And unfortunately, he just lost the AMX 13105 to the M60, and that leaves Remillexis with the Death Star and the M48 Patton against 4 enemy players. Once again, he's trying to be patient with this, but, you know, with only 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game, I'm kind of wondering if he's being a little bit too cautious. He does have 1,550 health left. He could take one good shot from that Gorilla 15. And if he's able to spot where those guys are, he's got a Death Star at the top of the hill. Could take some really, really good shots against those exposed opponents, because the only thing that's keeping them covered is the tree line. And unless they're sitting behind that church, there's really no way to tell for sure. Yeah, I honestly think that T110E5 might be AFK. He's not moving at all. Of course, the M48 Patton, I should say, finally moved from F6, where he's been sitting the entire game, and he's getting a lot of beef about it from the rest of his teammates who have already died. To be fair, he really should have moved forward. Remillexis tries to take a long shot at M48 Patton and unfortunately misses, but the Death Star takes out the M60, which was a huge part of this, and now it's a 12 versus 12. There's only 4 shots left for Remillexis. The Gorilla 15 takes a shot. He was sitting over in the trees, so it was a very wise decision from Remillexis to not charge down towards the T110E5, but unfortunately, he only has 3 shots left. I mean, even if the Gorilla 15 is sitting there, you can take 1 shot from him and you have a Death Star at the top of the hill. It might be best to actually charge down towards the trees. M48 Patton is trying to take out the other M48 Patton. Still trying to figure out where that M48 Patton was going off to. 2 minutes left in this game. really have to make a decision here at this point. Remillexis is still trying to be cautious here, but unfortunately that M48 Patton is caught off guard. He's been flanked around by the other M48 Patton, who is on way more health than he is, and Remillexis is considering trying to get into a position to help cover him. But I believe that Death Star is in the best position that he needs to be in order to cover that shot. Unfortunately, the Death Star shouldn't go out there too far because the Gorilla 15 could get some really good shots on him if he's just sitting there exposed. And as we can see, the FE215B1A3 does not have very much health left. Now, Death Star does take a shot at the T110E5, but unfortunately it does not penetrate, and neither does Remillexis. He's on 2 shots left. Gorilla 15 takes another shot. It doesn't do any damage to Remillexis. Honestly, the Gorilla 15 has had a missed opportunity to get the inside plate. That was a beautiful shot from the Death Star to get that shot down, but unfortunately he's going to be reloading, and he's already taken a shot from the M48 Patton. Keenan's on his last shot. He's trying to figure out where he's going to shoot at, and he looks at the upper plate. He's thinking maybe he can go for the cupola. It's a beautiful shot that goes in, but it wasn't enough to take out the T110E5, which means he is still alive, and he is alone against 3 opponents with 30 seconds left and no rounds. Yeah, I think this is a draw. Remillexis is now just trying to get into a position where nobody can fire at him. He's unfortunately out of rounds, but he did 5,351 damage with 2,600 spotting. I mean, even at a draw, this was a fantastic game. So, props to him on this one for just being patient and trying to get the shots in. Maybe if he was a little bit more aggressive, he might have been able to get more stuff done. But it is what it is. Hindsight's 20/20, right? And with that bombshell, we have a draw. Don't get to see these very often. It was a Class 1 Mastery Badge, which is excellent, considering the fact that a draw is considered a defeat on both sides, and you get less experience points when you lose. It was still 1,595 experience for a base experience of 664. If that was a win, that would be significantly more. 30 shots fired. Out of the 30 shots, 28 direct hits, but only 12 penetrations. The mouse really was able to soak up a lot of the damage potential that Remillexis had in this game. Even though he did 5,351 damage, it just was not enough to carry his team to a victory. Damage blocked by his armor was 4,440, which is excellent. Once again, it just goes to show that the IS-4 is still a threat and is still something that you just do not underestimate, because even though it has that weak point on the upper plate, on the upper part of the turret, I should say, Remillexis is able to use the terrain and just use the knowledge of his tank to be able to bounce many shots on his vehicle. He received 11 hits, and out of those 11 hits, only 2 of them were penetrations and 9 non-penetrations, and 22,682 assistance damage. So all in all, I think it was a great game by Remillexis. Unfortunately, it was a draw. I mean, obviously, he could have had some more help from some of his teammates. The AMX-13-105, even though he had a very good game of 3,375 damage, just wasn't the best position for him to start at. If he was able to scout some more of those tanks, Remillexis would have had a little bit more knowledge. He would have been able to move forward, be a little bit more aggressive, and he might have been able to get over the way to the other side with some health in order to take out some of those tank destroyers without wasting too much ammo. But anyway, great first game. Really appreciate it, Remillexis, for bringing that in. Would love to see some more replays from you guys. Please send them. Send them to worldoftanksETWRS@gmail.com. And make sure you put the post-battle results in there as well. Just take some screenshots like I said in this video. And I'm really looking forward to doing this. I'm excited about this. I'm going to get better at it, I promise. Do a lot of uhs and ers here, but I'm going to try to increase my knowledge about this game by doing a little bit of commentary, and leave some comments down below of what you think Remillexis should have done in the predicaments. And as always, take care, and I will see you in the next replay.